Hello students. So in the last class we have discussed about our South India kingdoms, and in today's class we will be discussing about the Cholas. So we have discussed that how Chaklukya kingdom, Pallava kingdom, Pandya kingdom and Chira kingdoms are located and who were the important rulers of that particular areas. And we have also discussed in the last video that these Cholas were increasing in their power. Now when we talk about the time period of 5th century to 9th century, from 5th century to 9th century time period we talk about, then Cholas were not recognized. Cholas were not of great powers. Cholas were not powerful at that time period of time. Now, but gradually after the 9th century, the Cholas emerged as a great powers under the rulers like Vijayadeva, Aditya. So under these rulers, the Cholas formed a great, deep-rooted and deep-strengthened kingdom known as Chola kingdom. All these activities took place after 9th century. So when we talk about Vijayadeva, Vijayadeva was a subordinate commander under Pallavas. So Vijayadeva was a small chief under Pallava kingdoms. But gradually he captured Thanjavur and formed a new kingdom with Thanjavur as a capital. With Thanjavur as a capital, he formed a new kingdom called Chola kingdom. But he died in 871 AD and was succeeded by Aditya I. Now Aditya I was also a great powerful ruler of Chola kingdom who have ruled from 871 to 907 AD. He had given a crushing defeat to Pandya kingdoms. When we talk about more about Aditya I was devotee of Shiva. He was a great worshipper of Shiva and hence he has also made several temples in the name of Shiva. That does not mean that he had criticized the people, those who were not believing the ideas of as that of the Aditya I. Those who were believing any other goddess or goddesses, they were also given the rights to worship their deities. Now, moving ahead, the next ruler was Prantaka I. Now, this Prantaka I has ruled from 907 to 955 AD. He was the son of Aditya I who had died in 907 AD. So, soon after the death of Aditya I, Prantaka I became the ruler of Chola kingdom from 907 and ruled till 955 AD. When we talked about Prantaka, we want to discuss that here the Pandya kingdom was defeated by Aditya I. Although there is no reference anywhere that Aditya I has annexed to the Pandya kingdom, but when we talk about Prantaka I, this ruler have annexed the Pandya kingdom into the territory of Chola kingdom. And moreover, not just this, he have also entered the northern part of Sri Lanka and annexed the territory of northern part of Sri Lanka as well. So this was a small brief introduction of the starting of the Chola kingdom. Now we are heading towards the sources of Cholas. How we come to know about the Chola kingdom. So when we talk about the sources to reconstruct the empire or kingdom of Cholas, we are having two types of resources. The first one is literary source and the second one are the archaeological sources. So when we talk about literary sources, we are having J.R. Gordon's epic. J.R. Gordon's epic is a great literary sources from which we come to know about the cultural, religious, political, economical, social scenes of the Chola Empire kingdom. So the J.R. Gordon's epic, which is named as Kalingattu Prani, which was dealing with the life of King Kulothunga, who have ruled upon the kingdom of Chola from 1070 AD to 1122 AD. Now, when we talk about Jayagonda's epic, Kalingattu Prani, this deals with the life of a king. Now, life of a king is totally based upon the life of the people as well. So, from here we come to know about the living standards of the people, about the economic, social, political and cultural scenes. Moving ahead, when we talk about archaeological sources, so in archaeological sources we are having two types further. The one is monuments and other is inscription. First we need to discuss about the monuments. When we talk about monuments, the important monument that we are having is Brihadeshwar temple. Brihadeshwar temple. It is also known as Raja Rajeshwar temple. It is built by Raja Chola I, who was again the king of Chola Empire. Now when we talk about Brihadeshwar temple or Raja Rajeshwar temple, it is built in Thanjavur, which was the capital of Chola kingdom. Now, this as Raja Rajeshwar was a great devotee or worshipper of Lord Shiva, so this temple is devoted to Lord Shiva. And most important thing about this temple is the Dravidian culture or the Dravidian style of the temple, from which we could come to know about the artistic talents of the people, those who were building this temple, and also about the culture of the Dravid of the South India. So these are the, moreover there are lots of inscriptions that we will be discussing just now. Inscriptions are also built upon these monuments, which deals with about the information of, which tells us about the information of that particular period. So continue with the next topic, that is in the archaeological sources we need to discuss about the inscriptions. So when we talk about inscriptions, now inscriptions are carved on, engraved on either on the rocks or on the metal bodies by the different kings or scribes. Now these were the orders, or it could be an image, or it could be any of the religious rule or regulation. Now when we talk about inscription, these inscriptions that are found in the South India are in Tamil or Sanskrit language, or they are in the combination of both the language, that is Tamil and Sanskrit languages. Now these inscriptions provide us information about the dates and conquests of the wars, which king got the throne on which day, and which king fought a war with which kingdom on which date. This also tells us about the religious cultures, as there were lots of deities that were engraved on the rocks, so from which we could come to know about the religious culture. Moreover, we could come to know about the ornaments that are used by these deities, could be also known from these inscriptions. We could also come to know about the administration of the particular area. Now, when we talk about administration of that particular area, how could we come to know? For example, there is a court scene depicted or engraved on any particular rock, from which we could come to know what is the status of the people standing in front of the king and what is the status of the king himself. Right? For example, we are having Uttara Miruru inscription that has been found, that tells us about the administration of that particular kingdom. Now, next inscription that we have found are copper plate inscriptions. These copper plate inscriptions also gives us great deal of information, but nowadays these are in the museums of Netherlands. So that was all about our introduction of the Chola kingdom and the sources that reconstruct the Chola kingdom. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Stay blessed.